Now, Nextcloud consists of a series of core applications you're all familiar with, Nextcloud Files, Doc, Assistant, and so on. These applications are mature and, big, doing a lot of stuff. But of course, there's much more than these. There are many other applications integrated in Nextcloud beyond these. Examples are, for example, integrations like the Microsoft Outlook integrations, integration with WebEx and Miro. Some of these are very close to Nextcloud, almost a part of Nextcloud, like Windmill, which is part of Nextcloud Flow, and Collabora Online, on which we have built Nextcloud Office. And others are a little bit further away. And then you have infrastructure pieces like the mail server, identity provider, database, and other parts that are also key to run a successful Nextcloud instance. Then you have the apps themselves on top of the platform. And don't underestimate these. There are over 600 apps, and this number is growing fast, and they're adding a lot of different capabilities and different things that you can use your Nextcloud server with and for. So we want to talk about all these things. First, a little bit about integrations. Then we want to talk about Nextcloud apps and some updates to there. And last, we have two announcements. Let me start with the integration of third-party apps. Already talked a little bit about improvements in Nextcloud Office, of course, as well as in Flow. And then there are XWiki and Open Project. These two projects continue to get closer to Nextcloud with better and better integration over time. Now for this release, there are three noteworthy improvements around integrations that I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about the add-ons for Sendent. These are probably familiar. So you have the Outlook integration from Sendent that allows you to securely share files or book meetings directly from your Outlook interface. And in the last release, Sendent also released an Apple Mail integration, which also allows you to share files and book meetings from within Apple Mail. Now with this release, they are making available a Thunderbird integration, which you can also use to share files and to book meetings with the Talk integration with other people. So that's the first integration improvement. Now second, I want to talk about Documenso. So Documenso is a tool that allows you to sign documents. And the integration within Nextcloud has been improved, so it's really now integrated in Nextcloud. You can read and sign the document from within the Nextcloud interface. And this works both for self-hosted as well as for premium Documenso instances. Another change that was done is the OpenID Connect integration that is now improved. You can now manage users through an OCS endpoint. That means you can use an API to add and remove and modify users. So it makes it easier for administrators that are using scripting to manage their Nextcloud instance. Now, of course, to build these integrations or connect to Nextcloud, you need a stable API, an easy interface for developers. And this is where the OCS interface come in, the Open Collaboration Services. As an external app, you're using this API to talk to a Nextcloud server to, for example, create shares or talk rooms or send messages or download files. Now, this API is documented using the Open API standard. And the Open API standard gives access to really nice tooling. So you can explore the API with the OCS Viewer app for Nextcloud. It's a really nice app. Basically lets you test things out very easily and then you can just grab the code. So next I want to invite Anna, our new developer relation manager, to share about the Nextcloud apps themselves.
Thanks, Jos. Let's talk about Nextcloud applications. There's currently about 600 native apps in the App Store, and that number is increasing day by day. A few of those new apps that our community has published are Mastermind. It's a game that looks deceptively simple, but is anything but. Ask me how I know. If you don't know the game, the goal is to crack a code of 5 colors as quickly as possible. It's a great game for puzzle lovers. This app was developed by Mark, and is his first, but not his last, Nextcloud app. Our second community app I'd like to show you is the Week Planner. Developer Søren Johansson describes it as a simple weekly planner inspired by Tweak, living right inside your Nextcloud. It makes planning so much easier. It offers drag and drop features, and of course, all your data stays yours. I like the UI a lot. As an old-handed bullet journaling, it feels familiar and comfortable. Now we have something for the sysadmins out there. Linkboard is a customizable service dashboard. Developed by Andreas, he created this app because he wanted an integrated service overview, not having to switch to a different application entirely every time he wanted to see his infrastructure status. It supports YAML and JSON import-export for your existing monitorings and is Get Homepage compatible. The UI has a service health check with status indicators, a status history with response time charts, and uptime tracking. You can have up to 500 services per user. That's quite a powerful app. The last app, Pantry by Chen, offers a powerful tool to organize your pantry, plan your groceries, and more. It works with multiple houses or offices, and it can even store reference photos of products, recipes, and more. No more fights about your roommate buying the wrong brand of cereal. Chen told me that he is working on making the Pantry app integrate with the equally great cookbook app by Christoph, which just makes sense. You can find all of these apps in the App Store, and the developers love getting feedback. So leave them a review or send them an email. We have also improved our App Store. We worked on accessibility improvements and added an expanded license check. This expansion now allows licenses like the Apache license, in fact, anything that's compatible with the HEPL version 3. Have you thought of an app you'd have liked to have for your Nextcloud, but you weren't sure where to start? Well, we think making apps should be easy. So we have written tutorials that will take you through developing an app step by step. And our documentation has had a lot of love recently too. Want to give it a quick try? There's even an automatic app generator. For those of you who have already published your apps, the following information will help you maintain and update your apps. We document changes to our API in our dev documentation. You can, at a glance, see what is new in each release and what has been deprecated. Our deprecations happen long before we finally remove the affected code, so our community developers have enough time to update their code. We also keep a history of changes per release in the documentation, so all of your bases are covered. If you're not a PHP developer, well, that's not a problem. With X apps, you can use the programming language you're most comfortable with, be that Python, WebAssembly, or Rust. We also offer SDKs for Python, Rust, TypeScript, and Go. But what are X apps? These are apps that work in microservices. They interact with your Nextcloud on an API level. They have no direct database access and cannot run PHP code directly on your server, which increases security. X apps use Docker for deployment, which distributes resource usage. If you want to build an integration or an app, whether that be native or external, go to nextcloud.com/developer, where you will find the tutorials and many more resources. Now we come to our announcements. But before that, a question. What is Nextcloud really? Is it a product, a group of apps, a company, a community? Well, I'd say it's all of those. It is not a single product. It is not a single company. We at Nextcloud, the company, have the honor to be stewards of Nextcloud, but we don't own it. The ownership is with the community, always has been and always will be. Thousands have contributed towards code, design, or translations. Everything from individuals, companies, public or private institutions, or even partners. Some apps are hobby projects that were made because a single person wanted this functionality. Others were created for business applications. They all contribute to the community. The community, all of us, are making a difference in people's lives. So it is my privilege to work for Nextcloud in developer relations. I am here to empower all of us to build the Nextcloud we want. What's next? Let's grow further together.